it's me Alex. Today it is time for my May and June 2020 favorites. I have bought many things in May and June of 2020 as like stress buying and graduation gifts to myself. So I have many things, specifically eyeshadow related things. I want to put a disclaimer on this, not that I need to explain any of my life. I am gonna do like a little no buy July type thing. Like I'm gonna order the Melt She's in Parties palette when it comes to Sephora on Tuesday just so I can get the free shipping. But then I'm like, okay, unless like I run out of eye primer, mascara things that I use and I don't really have more than one of, I am not going to be buying any more makeup because I have a lot and I would like to do like different videos on all of like the palettes that I have and things of that nature, mostly because the majority of things that I have purchased recently are eyeshadow related because I have problems when it comes to eyeshadow. Actually, my most recent acquisition came in today, and that is the Color Terrain Safari Rain palette. It literally came in right after I did my makeup, but I'm thinking one of my future videos in the not too distant future will be a little like first impressions. Like I'm gonna film with it tomorrow and there will be a video on it. But anyway, I think that is enough of a disclaimer. A lot's happened in May and June, but I have really been trying to spend a lot of time like at home enjoying things like with my makeup and all of that and really try to do new things. So I am now going to actually get into the things that I've been liking. So firstly, let's talk about eyeshadow. I will begin with what I have on my eyes right now, which is the Huda Beauty Sapphire Obsessions palette. I talked about this in an anti-hauling things I actually want video, and then my friend Larissa actually sent this to me as a graduation gift, which was super sweet. She said that she had stalked all my videos to find me something that I would like for my graduation, which was really sweet. And so in addition to this being like an actually really good quality palette, this is very sentimental and sweet to me. As you can see, it is a monochromatic blue palette. I have these two blue mattes in my crease, like as the matte shades here, and then I did kind of a gradient between these three shimmers on my lid and inner corner. And I really like this. I feel like I can get a wide variety of different blue looks out of this palette. I just love blue eyeshadow in general. If you have seen any of my videos for any length of time, you know that I'm a huge blue and green eyeshadow lover, and I've always wanted to try some of Huda Beauty shadows. I got really interested in trying some of her mini palettes because those appealed to me the most. After I got this, actually, I ended up buying the neon pink one and also recently the amethyst one. I have not tested these out enough for me to consider them favorites, but they are doing like good so far. Like they seem to be generally the same quality as this one, but this is the one that I have been using the absolute most, so I can give you a proper review on it. It's really good. Like, it's a pretty inexpensive blue palette. Like, if you don't have any blue eyeshadows and you really just want to go all in, I think this would be a really great investment for you. Just because, first of all, I know her palettes, like the mini ones, are generally less expensive. They're like $27 to $29 depending on what packaging they come in. I know the cardboard packaging ones are generally less expensive. The mattes perform really nicely. They go on really well. You can build them up as you need to. And this is one of the only buildable blues that I've really come across that doesn't look super patchy when you apply it. It applies very smoothly. And what I really like the most are the shimmers that come in this, just because I feel like there's a very special quality to her shimmers that have a lot more dimension than your standard shimmer eyeshadow. I feel like she does texture in eyeshadow very well, so I've really, this has been very enjoyable for me. Next up is the Melt Gemini palette, and as you know, I've generally been wanting this one for a very long time, so I finally decided to bite the bullet when on my graduation weekend Melt was having a sale, so I decided to get this and a lipstick, which you will, spoiler alert, see later in the video. Now, surprisingly, this is where you might wonder if I'm doing okay. I've actually really been loving the neutral side even more than I've been loving the green side. The green side is fine. The green side is great. I love green eyeshadow. Always have, always will, especially a good grungy green. But this, like these sort of neutral grungy browns have really inspired me in a way that I really didn't anticipate. I never thought myself to be someone who would really get into neutral shadows, but whenever I've wanted to do a little bit more of a neutral look, like what I did with my Animal Crossing Alice makeup, I've always gone for this one, just because I feel like these neutrals are very, very interesting to me. They have a lot of, these aren't your standard neutral eyeshadows, and I like that a lot, and I think they're very flattering, and they're really nice. I quite like them. This is one of the good quality Melt palettes, by the way. I know Melt's quality is hit or miss, but this one's really good. Next up, I have some single shadows from JD Glue that I want to talk about. Now, I do have two of their Galaxy shadows, which are these two right here. I'm still kind of getting used to them, so I don't think they're bad. They're just a lot more glittery than what I'm used to with eyeshadow, so I want to play with them a little bit more before I give them a full review. But these two multi-chromes right here, I am going to delicately take these out because I have been known to drop single eyeshadows on the ground. This one is in the shade which is this beautiful purple to teal kind of dimensional multi-chrome. And then, oh god, I think I stuck my finger in the other. And then No Way, which is kind of a dupe for that shade in the Pat McGrath, what even is it called? I did a whole video duping the frickin' thing. The Rose one, her most recent Mothership Divine Rose 2 palette, that one. This is kind of like the multi-chrome in that, which is kind of like a chartreuse to gold to pink. And I really like both of these. I was never quite sure about multi-chromes just because I don't know whatever put me off like from buying them. I feel like I wanted to make sure that I could use them really well, but once I really bought these, because I've heard everyone rave about them, I feel like these were a very good investment on my part. I really like how both of these work with my eye color, and I also feel like I have a lot of lid space that can really allow for a cool multi-chrome type look. These are really fun. Like, I just put down a glitter glue just to make sure they have a little bit of extra dimension to them and a little bit of extra hold, but overall I think they apply super, super easy. They're very smooth, and they honestly are very, very pigmented without primer as well. So I'm overall just very excited about these. And then lastly, in terms of eyeshadow, I got the Color Rain Vivid Pigments palette, and I am really liking it. Now, I haven't quite used all of the shades. I have used just about all of them except for like some of the blue shades. I really want to play a little bit more with the blue shades in this. I've just been a little bit enamored by the Huda Beauty blue palette. But what I have especially been loving are these purples. Now, as you know, I'm a purple eyeshadow aficionado, a purple eyeshadow connoisseur, if you will, and these purple eyeshadows, chef's kiss. These are absolutely delightful. I think they go on really pigmented. I have really come to love Colored Rain as a brand more recently. I wasn't like eyeing them a whole lot in that like I thought that what they made was nice, but I was never really interested until my friends really started talking about them, and I was like, no, you should get this. This is an actual good investment. So I'm very, very impressed by this. It is a really good rainbow matte palette. I used this in a Pride Get Ready With Me that I did for my undergrad when they were doing their virtual Pride thing, and this was really just an overall very fun time. And I feel like you could get just about anything that you need to do a colorful look out of this palette. Now, before we move on to face products, I did want to mention one glitter that I've been absolutely loving. I wanted to share the Taurus glitter from Glam Goth Beauty. You will have seen me use this in my previous video where I did a demo and review of Glam Goth Beauty's biodegradable glitters. Glam Goth had a sale back in May, I believe, sometime in May, and I was able to get a whole bunch of glitters for half price, but I'm especially loving the one in Taurus. One, because I am a Taurus, but also because it has this very beautiful duochrome multi-dimensional effect. When you look at it, when you swatch it, it's just like your standard blue-brown duochrome. Also, if the lighting is changing, it's like 7:17 at night. Like, once you actually apply it on the eyes, it goes on very opaquely, it stays really well, it is not uncomfortable to wear on the eye. It's just has so much dimension that when you just like turn your head in the light, it is gorgeous. I love this so much. This is one of like the only loose glitters that I'm like really obsessed with. Like, I have some from Fluid Beauty that I like, but they come in a jar with no sifter, and that kind of scares me a little bit. This one has a pretty easy like lid where you can just screw it off and open it up, and there's a little hole in there like that. You can see it when if you look at my full review and demo and all of that. So this is just Glam Goth's a good brand, and they just came to Foxblood, which is Dre Ronane's like goth shop, and that is extra cool. Okay, let's move on to some face products. Now, I've tried a few new face products this month, not quite as much as eyeshadow, because I have a lot of eyeshadow. Like I said, I have problems. But I think I'll go first of all with the Glossier Cloud Paints, which look like these are like little paint tubes. I'm sure that if you've been on YouTube long enough, you've seen these. I'm wearing the one in Beam today, which is more of a peachy tone. I already knew that I would like these. I like a good, like, natural liquid cream blush. I tried these with a few friends in the past, so I knew that I would like them, but I didn't realize that they would become the staple that they did. So I have it in the shade Dusk in Beam. Dusk is a more nude, Beam is a more peachy shade, and I also didn't imagine that I would like the peachy shade as much as I did. When you actually like look at it when you first apply it, it very much looks kind of exactly like the color in there, which can be very, I'm not gonna say like almost neon, but like in a way, it looks kind of intimidating in that way. But once you blend it out, it gives a very nice flush, and Dusk is obviously a shade that I would really love because I love a good nude blush. It's very natural, it is very easy. It almost gives me more of like a tan glow rather than a blush, and I really like it. I mean, I included these in my blushes for people who are afraid of blush video, and these are basically the perfect blush for if you're afraid of blush. So generally speaking, ever since I got these, I've been using one of these two almost every day. Occasionally I'll layer it with another blush on top. I've used at least one of these every single time I've done my makeup since I've gotten them. I also made an order from Fenty Beauty this month, mostly to try their mascara, since I have been trying to replace my mascara, since my two mascaras that I really love are from Milk and ColourPop, which are brands that I'm kind of taking a break from at the moment. So I wanted to find a new mascara. Oddly enough, I haven't used it yet, mostly because I'm trying to get through my Milk one first, just because I don't like having more than one mascara open at a time. So take a shot every time I say mascara. But in that order, I decided to go for a couple of their face products, just because I have tried their cream blush before and I really ended up liking that. Lighting change, again, wow, amazing. Y'all are just gonna have to deal with this. It helps makeup look really good though. But both of these I'm wearing on my face right now. Firstly, I'm going to show y'all, I got the Matte Sticks Matte Skin Tint Contour Stick in Mocha, which is like the second lightest shade. I feel like I could have almost gone for Amber, but I know that I definitely get a little bit more tan during the summer, and since we're going into the summer, I preferred to go for the darker shade just in case the lighter one wouldn't show up on me as much. And I've been using this because I haven't really contoured in a long time, but I just kind of felt like the mood was taking me, and I feel like this is a really good product. It is very stiff, so you do have to work pretty quickly, but I feel like once it warms up on your skin, it's pretty easy to work with. I kind of just do it like on my cheekbones and a little bit at the top of my forehead, because I don't have a forehead, I have a 5 head, that's why I have bangs, but I kind of take it on the one part that isn't covered by my bangs. And I really like this. I just kind of use, I have a Real Techniques brush that I use to just like blend it out into my cheekbones. I do really enjoy contouring, I just haven't done it in a while. I'm not even entirely sure why, but now that I've found a product that I really like, I'm doing it more. And the other thing that I got from Fenty was their Sunstalker bronzer in the shade Shady Biz. Again, second lightest shade, because like I said, I didn't want to go too terribly light when we're going into summer, and I tan pretty easily. So this is what that looks like in case you haven't seen it. I had previously only owned one bronzer, which was the Milani Baked bronzer, which is like a glowy one, which is still really nice, and I don't hate it, but I also wanted a matte bronzer, just because I did used to use the Too Faced Chocolate Soleil bronzer, and then I had the NYX matte bronzer, which, like, the Too Faced one expired, and the NYX one broke, basically, so I kind of just like went to the Milani one because it was what I had and I used it for like forever, but I kind of just felt the need to use matte bronzer because I've heard so many people talk about this, and this is honestly a really good shade, and if you're about my skin tone, this is going to work really well for you. And then the last face product that I've been loving is the Melt Digital Dust Highlighter in Morningstar, and I kind kind of got this because of the name, because I've been watching a lot of Lucifer. But I've also had this on my Sephora Loves list for a long time. This is what I'm wearing as like my highlight right now. And it's really interesting because I've wanted to try one of Melt's highlighters for a while. First of all, I don't know if you can really see the embossing on here, but I almost didn't want to use it when I got it just because the embossing on it is so beautiful. And it's really interesting because I am generally a lover of kind of a champagne-y pink highlighter. Like, I have that in multiple different formulas, and I almost didn't buy this because of that, but I was in treat yourself mode, so I got this, and I'll swatch it because it's like light and it's a really good shade for me, but it has a little bit of like a unique dimension to it. So it's like a pearly white, but if you look at it a little bit deeper, you can see kind of a pink shift to it. And this is what I'm wearing on my cheeks right now, and it looks pretty natural when you apply it, but it definitely applies like a bit softer than a lot of the other highlights that I have. It kind of does a very nice balance between glowy and glittery. I'm not someone who often buys high-end highlighters, just because, I mean, I've tried ones from like Makeup Revolution and other drugstore brands, and I feel like they're just as good. They all kind of perform the same on my skin, but I do feel like this is actually a good investment. I do need to kind of take it off the front burner for a little bit, just because I am trying to actually pan my Makeup Revolution baked highlight, but this is a really, really nice one, and I'm very happy I own it. Okay, let's talk about 3 lip products now. I'm going to first start with what I'm wearing, which is the Colored Rain Liquid Lipstick in Cappuccino. I got this when I was getting the Vivid Pigments palette, just because it was on sale, and I knew that I like shades like this, and I also have like a brown lipstick in the Colored Rain formula, and I did really like that, but I just really hadn't had the opportunity to really get more from them. Like, I don't know, I just hadn't felt the urge in a while, but this, I think they have a very comfortable liquid lipstick formula, and I think that's really what I want right now. Is I still love liquid lipsticks. I love their staying power. I'm not someone who's going to easily convert to like the creamy glossy lip. Like, I have a few that I like, but I'm very picky about it. And so I think that the Colored Rain liquid lipstick formula strikes a very nice balance. This is a very flattering, neutrally nude lipstick for me. I love tones like this. It's just really good. Next up is what I wore in my last video, which is the Glam Goth liquid lipstick in Perish. This is more of like a warm brownie autumnal sort of shade. It kind of looks like this. I'll swatch it on my hand. And I was a little bit skeptical about this shade because I wasn't sure if I would look really good in it, but now that I've worn it a lot, I feel like it is very nice, very grungy. I think it would also look really good with the Melt Gemini palette. I haven't had a chance to pair those two together just yet, but I feel like that would be a good combination. And I feel like this formula, like, it's your standard liquid lipstick formula. If you like, I would say maybe the Menagerie formula of liquid lipsticks, you would really like this one, because I feel like they're about the same consistency, so they're a little bit more on the drying side, but that's not something that I personally mind. As I've said previously, you will have to pry my liquid lipstick out of my cold, dead hands. Not to be dramatic or anything. I do really like this one, and it has kind of gotten me out of my comfort zone in terms of like neutral lipsticks, because I generally kind of used to wear like this shade, like the Milani Matte Beauty, you know, has always been kind of my standard. So this one has really gotten me out of my comfort zone to enjoy a little bit more of like a brownie, grungy fall nude. And then the last lipstick is what I got when I ordered the Melt Gemini palette, and it's of a similar tone. It is their just matte bullet lipstick in Mum. And this one is a little bit lighter than the Glam Goth Beauty one. It's a little bit more orange toned, but I really like this one as well. This is a very nice, it's a very nice neutrally lipstick. I still really like a good bold lipstick, but I feel like I've kind of been moving towards more grungy nudes recently. They've just been a little bit more inspiring. This formula is very nice. I feel like it's your standard lipstick. I'm not sure if I would pay full price for it. Like, I got this because it was half off. I'm not sure about full price, but that's mostly because I do have a lot of drugstore lipsticks that I really enjoy, like the ones from Milani. I recently also got some from e.l.f. when I made that order, and I think their formula is really good. It would take a lot for me to pay full price for a high-end lipstick. Like, I like the Urban Decay ones, kind of, but again, not something I would pay full price for. But if you are wanting to pay full price for a high-end lipstick, I think that this formula is really good. It wears very nicely. It is comfortable. I know a lot of people don't like matte lipsticks, like even tube lipsticks, just because they can be a bit uncomfortable, and I really don't find that with this, so quite like it. Okay, so next I think we should talk about skincare and about how my pillow continually falls out of the back of my chair. So I decided to kind of amp up my skincare routine like just a little bit. I have gotten some new products that I've added into my routine. I ran out of my niacinamide from The Ordinary, and Ulta didn't really have any niacinamide products that were like in my budget in stock at the time when I needed to restock it. So I was just like, you know what, let me try something new, and I added the hyaluronic acid into my routine kind of as a replacement. I know that they don't do the same things, but I have really been enjoying it. I feel like my skin absorbs skincare so much better. It stays really nice and hydrated. I don't know, my skin just been looking really great. Even though I'm stressed out like 24/7, I feel like my skin looks really good. It's very nice and hydrated. In the morning when I'm getting ready to do my makeup, I don't have to do that much to my face in order to really prep it. Like, I can just put down, I use this at night, and then in the morning I can just put down a sunscreen and my face will basically be ready. So I feel like this helps just like absorb the other things in my skincare routine really well. I also splurged and got the Kate Somerville Exfoliate in the mini because the full size is like $80. This is $24. This little thing is $24. And I got this because just about every single time I have the opportunity to get this as like a free sample from Sephora or Ulta, I always get it. So it's like, you know what, I am running out of my favorite Derma E charcoal scrub and I still haven't been able to find that. I think I might need to go to Target to find it. So I wanted to get a different scrub that I could use in the meantime that I knew worked well for my skin and that I knew that I liked. And I don't use this one every single day like I do that one. I use this one about once or twice a week, whereas the Derma E one I would use just about every single day. Just because this one is a little bit more of like a micro exfoliant, if that makes sense. Like, it's a lot smaller, it gets into a lot more nooks and crannies in your face, and so if I do too much then I feel like I would over exfoliate my skin. But this is really nice. It always leaves me feeling very good in the skincare department. My skin is nice and glowy and I like it a lot. And then on the other end of things, of like a price point of things that I've been loving, is the Walgreens brand Nourish facial mask with avocado and oatmeal. And I got this because I had to go to Walgreens to, I think it was like, because they have a FedEx location inside the Walgreens, and then like, because I needed to mail something, and then I was just like, oh my god, I'm out in public in a place that isn't a grocery store. I'm in a fucking Walgreens right now. I can buy like vitamins and nail polish and face mask. And so I went a little bit crazy and I bought like a cheap-ass Walgreens face mask, and honestly, this has been really nice. I like exfoliating my face with a little Kate Somerville thing and then just like putting this one on afterwards because I feel like that helps like it really go into my skin a whole lot, and it really does nourish my skin. So, you go, Walgreens. And speaking of other things that I impulse bought while I was out at Walgreens, and I bought a little mini set of the China Glaze Trolls World Tour nail polishes. I'm only showing two here because I haven't used the others yet. I kind of just got the random urge to do my nails, which I haven't done in a long time because generally speaking in my day-to-day life, pre-pandemic, I'm someone who does a lot of work with my hands, so I do stuff in my community garden. I would go to kickboxing, I knit, I like basically nail polish. A good manicure does not last a long time with me. Though there was like this one woman at my kickboxing gym who always had like these gorgeous like long red nails, and she always managed to look really perfect, and I really want to know what her secret is, but like anyway, long story short is that I never really had time to properly do my nails. So I kind of like went through a phase when I was decluttering stuff that I just kind of got rid of all of my nail polishes because I was like, no. You know, I don't need any of these because I only use like one of them, my one Marc Jacobs nail polish. But then I kind of got the urge, it's like, you know what, maybe I could paint my nails again. And so I got this little mini set because there's a few more shades in there. It's kind of like a little rainbow set. And this actually does really well. I forgot that I really like the China Glaze formula because it is a nice balance between like being very thin but also being very full coverage, if that makes sense. Like, you don't need a whole lot of coats to get it done, and that's usually one of my main problems is my nails are never able to dry quick enough, and I always end up like smudging or chipping something even if I feel like I've waited like hours on end. And so these sheets have been really nice. As far as this one goes, which is Chill in Symphonyville. It looks like an opaque shade in there. It's actually not. It's a very like light shimmery shade, but this green one here, which is, it's all techno, has been really nice, and that's a nice like creamy full coverage one. And then that led me to buy a couple more like full-size China Glaze polishes, which I got because I wanted to get free shipping at Ulta. And these two were on sale because they were their, like they were from their Halloween collection and they were still on sale. And so I'll show you all the one I'm wearing right now, which I'm still a little bit iffy on, but I feel like maybe if I do one more coat, I'll really like it. You can't see it as well. It's just like a dark purple with some shimmer in it. It's called Private Side Eye. And it went on fine. It looks black in the bottle, but that's also because of my lighting right now. It's just like not great. It's not my favorite nail polish I have right now, but I feel like it did apply pretty well. I'm gonna try and do like one more coat on top of what I have tomorrow, because a couple, like one of my nails got smudged, and I feel like maybe if I build it up a little bit more, you can see a little bit more of the shimmer, and like it's overall pretty good. But then my absolute favorite of them all is in the shade Green with Jealousy. And you can see that it is this very cool kind of iridescent, almost duochrome green shade. And this is really nice because even though it's a shimmer shade, it goes on very opaquely. You can probably even just do one coat with this. I always do two at least, just so to cover up the mistakes of my first try to do my nails, you know. But this is really nice. It lasted a very long time on me. I'm thinking after this coat of nail polish is done, I'm probably going to go back to this. I'm also going to check out like that line in general, because I forgot how much I love the China Glaze formula. I remembered enough to buy it again, but I forgot that it was actually, you know, pretty good quality. So I really, really like that. Okay, so that's it for like face and body stuff. I do want to like mention these Doc Martens sandals I got as a favorite. They're wet my pillow again. But that's mostly because I've finally broken these in, and these are no longer uncomfortable, and these are very nice and chunky, and I have been walking just about everywhere in these, and I like them a lot. As far as like movies and TV shows, I started watching Kim's Convenience on Netflix, which is really, really cute. An adorable, wholesome family sitcom. It is super sweet. Shout out to my friend Melissa for recommending it to me. As I said before, I've been watching a lot of Lucifer, which is really great, and I also got into Avatar: The Last Airbender. That was not a show that I watched growing up, even though like all my friends in high school watched it, so I don't really know how I managed to avoid it, but anyway, we have just like the last episode to watch, and Kay says that it's gonna be fun and that I'll enjoy the last episode, but I'm really putting off watching the last episode because it's the last episode and I don't want to watch that. Because I know there's Legend of Korra afterwards, but I just really love all of the characters, and Appa is the greatest. I also took a BuzzFeed quiz which says that I'm most like Toph, which feels like a gigantic compliment to me, and I asked Case what they thought and they said it was true, so I'm very happy about that. Movies, I finally watched Knives Out because it came to Amazon Prime, which Case has because textbooks, and I thought that was absolutely fantastic. We like watched that last week, and I don't know how I had managed to put off watching that movie for so long. I know it's because generally speaking in theaters, I really only go to theaters to watch like Marvel films and horror films, and I don't really go for many other films unless like I'm visiting my parents and they really want to see something. But that was absolutely fantastic. I loved it so much because, you know, it was one of those films where it like leads you to believe that it's going to be about one thing and then it's about another thing and then it's about another thing, and I really liked that. It was a lot of twists and turns, but it was really fun. It was very like humorous. It like fucking smashed that Bechdel test. I loved it a lot. It was great. We also watched The King of Staten Island, the Pete Davidson film, a couple weeks ago, and I thought that was pretty good too. I wasn't sure if I was gonna like that one or not, but I remember John Mulaney had raved about it. Case and I are huge John Mulaney fans in this household. We stan him. Like him and Bill Hader are some of our favorites, and also Sarah Millican. If you ever watch Sarah Millican stand up, you fucking need to. She's the greatest. Like, Case and I had both kind of seen the trailers separately, and then we were like, hey, would you want to watch that? I didn't think you would be into that, but like, we both thought the other person wouldn't have been into the movie a whole lot, but then we both really wanted to watch it, and it actually turned out to be pretty good. It was really interesting to me because it was like funny but also very serious, and it hit home in a lot of ways because I know that it takes place in Staten Island, New York, but a lot of it felt very familiar to also like growing up in like small town Virginia, and so I feel like it, like, if you're not into his humor, you're probably not going to enjoy it all that much. But I did really enjoy it because it did tell a story that felt very familiar to me, and it's one of those things where it felt very localized to that area, but I feel like a lot of people can relate to that story, if you know what I mean. So I really ended up enjoying that. I had watched some of his stand-up on Netflix as well, and it was pretty good. Oh, Cases got me into playing Borderlands. Well, we've been talking about playing Borderlands for a long time anyway, but it was always like school and stuff really got in the way of me wanting to get into video games and stuff. Like, it's something, video games is something that I've always wanted to do more of, but I've never quite had the spoons to do between school, YouTube, work, and all of that. And I guess the one part of being graduated and unemployed is that I have a little bit more time to do that, so I've been really enjoying Borderlands. And I had played a little bit of that before several years ago, but then like I just didn't play it for a while, and then Case got like the entire Borderlands collection. We're still on the first game together, but it has been super, super fun. I've been loving it a lot. I'm normally kind of, you know, a Sims, Animal Crossing, Stardew Valley kind of wholesome game type gamer, but I like this one because like it doesn't have a gigantic plot, it doesn't have a whole lot of depth for you to follow, but it's like fun chaos, and I've really been loving that. And like everyone in the game is like some form of queer, and it makes me really happy. I play the Siren, and I love that you can modify her to, I gave her teal hair, so she looks like me. So I'm thinking perhaps I might be able to thrift a cosplay to play her. It is a fun game. I am, like, it's not super deep. Case has also been trying to get me into playing Dishonored, but has warned me that apparently my method of killing everyone and everything in a game because I have no sense of stealth does not work well for that. I'll report back on how all that works. I'm not good at being stealthy in games. It is a problem. Because I've also been playing Dead by Daylight, we've been playing that with Case's cousin and his fiance, like, down in Virginia, because you can, like, play that online. And so we've been playing that a few times. Case has been playing it more than me. But in the few times I have played it, it's pretty fun. I like it a lot. I still have to get into it a little bit more just because there is like an element of stealthiness to it. Because like if you haven't played it, you're like running away, working together to run away from a killer. And it's super fun because I love horror, but like I said, subtlety, not my strong suit. So I have a little bit of a learning curve when it comes to that game. If nothing else, I make a very good distraction. Yeah, so, and I've also obviously been playing a lot of Animal Crossing. So I think that's just about everything. I'm trying to think if there's anything else that I've watched recently, any movies or anything. That's a good ending to this video. I'm very done with talking right now. But I also have to go call my parents, so that is a different kind of talking. So anyway, thank you so much for watching. Please let me know what you've been enjoying recently down below in the comments. Give this video a thumbs up if you liked it, subscribe if you want to see more videos from me, and I will see y'all in my next one. I hope y'all have a wonderful day. Bye!